Welcome back. This is Defender Fabrication. My name's Scott, and this is shop update number 7, December 29th, 2017. What are we going to talk about this week? I'm going to do a long-term review on the CHI doors that we put up last year. We're going to talk about the Jeep that you saw in the episode 2 weeks ago and what we did to it. We're going to do an update on the progress in the office. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and go up and I'll show you what's going on up there. Okay, as you can see, the drywall's all finished. The painting is done. There's a primer coat on everything and the ceiling is complete. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure how this is going to come up on the video, but the ceiling looks slightly purple. But in fact, the paint that I used on the ceiling is the same paint that we used out in the shop that matches or was scanned and mixed to match this white, which is called bright white is the name of the color. So that's the same as the ceiling and the walls out here. So I've still got to get some paint for the walls. We're going to do that in a slightly darker shade of gray, and I've got all the trim, and we're going to paint the trim white and do the outlets and covers and all that in white as well. I've got all the tile for the bathroom, and that should start here at any time. That's ready to go. We'll do the floor first, which will be these tiles here. Then the walls will all be just 4x4 white, just plain, just something to get it done, make it easy to clean up. The bathroom, we have got everything in here ready for the tile work. The backer board has been sealed between the walls and the floor. I still do need to put a flange down here and hook up the sewer pipe for the toilet. But everything in here is painted. We're going to we use the same color of white that we did out here on the ceiling. We're going to leave all of that. So we're ready in here to go ahead and finish putting the electrical in and then do the tile and start tidying up all those little loose ends in here. Got the cover on the fan light combo, but the tile, as before, will go up about this high. So that's about it. So let's talk about the Jeep that you saw in the last episode 2 weeks ago. I'm just going to go ahead and insert some pictures, show you some of the progress. That was completed last week, and the customer was very happy with it. That was just a tire carrier is all that we did there. The owner did a lot of updates to that Jeep. I'm not sure what the designation of it, whether it's a XJ, YJ, whatever it is, but I do know that it's a little longer than a regular Jeep. As you can tell, he was going for a look kind of like a Scrambler. The wheelbase on that is, I think, 12 inches longer. It's not as long as one of the four-door Jeeps, but it is a foot longer than a typical Jeep. What we did on that was he had plates for the roll bar. He cut the roll bar off and put that fiberglass top on it, so that it would look similar to the old Scrambler, if you remember the Scramblers from back in the days of the CJs. And he had the plates for the old roll bar where it mounted in the back, and we took those, cleaned those up, and made new plates for the floor where the rear seat would have attached, and bent up a new hoop. Now we're not calling this a roll bar, we're just calling this a tire carrier. There's no reason to put this was put on there for safety, only to carry that rear tire. He supplied the flange to bolt to the tire, which was actually part of a extension for the tire carrier that would have went on the rear of the Jeep. And you can probably tell by the pictures that the tires that we've got on that, or the tire that I mounted on the back is actually a 35 tall, which doesn't match the ones on the Jeep, but he's got 4 more of those that he's going to put on. But anyway, that project went well. The customer was happy with it, and in fact had inquired as to whether I could possibly do more of these. And the fact is, I can only really do that if I've got a Jeep in hand, unless I make a jig. I did not fabricate a jig in this case because I don't anticipate much of this coming in unless somebody has actually got a Jeep. And that leads me to another discussion about work. Just so you're familiar, if you haven't watched a lot of videos on my channel, what we're trying to do here is start this shop and build this shop into something. Right now it's just me. In the future, potentially have some employees and have this shop generate enough income that I can make a good living off of it. And the tough part is, because of what I do, there's not a real easy way to advertise and get work. And I have tried in the past. There's a local bulletin board, like a little sales newspaper, and I've paid for ads in there and not gotten anything out of it. I have done some Facebook advertising, if you're familiar with how some of that works. And that's really neat because you can focus on a certain area, and about the only thing that really does for me is get more people that watch the Defender Chassis Facebook page. But really, to this date, hasn't really led to anything. So that's me crying about how to advertise. Now I'm going to tell you how it seems that I'm getting work and the best way to go about it. What I've found is that there's a truck here right behind me that I'm doing a roll bar in, and we'll show that on the next episode. This belongs to a guy that I've known for a lot of years. It belongs to the son of a good friend of mine, and I get some work that way. But what I've found is that word of mouth, friends of friends, is really the way to get it out there. Because of the nature of what I'm doing, custom fabrication, I'm not really selling. It's not like you're a hamburger joint and you're wanting somebody to stop in and buy a hamburger. So anyway, recently, all the work that I've been getting in, all the people that have called wanting something done have been referred by people that know me. And I gave them a shout out on Facebook here a while back, and I'll do the same thing here in the video. Listen, I appreciate the heck out. It means I personally hesitate to refer people because of the potential for somebody to be unhappy. So if I refer you to somebody, it's probably because I'm very confident in the work that they do, and so I'm assuming that people have the same belief in me. So I certainly do appreciate it. And if you're doing the similar thing that I'm trying to do here, if that's why you're watching, then my suggestion would be to hit those people up. I'm going to give some people some donuts and drop off some business cards and do some things like that, because there's a couple that are probably responsible for 50% of what I'm doing here. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that. More about the roll bar that's going to go in this truck. It's a Ford F350. I think it's around a 99, 2000, something of that nature. And he's running low 12s and needs a roll bar to be legal. And we're going to do that for him. More on that in 2 weeks. Okay, let's talk about the garage doors. I'll just say straight up from the beginning, I'm not happy with these garage doors. If you watched the shop series where we were building the shop, you know that I bought these doors off of a company, and I'm not going to mention them right now because it's not their fault that I'm not happy. Although I will say that the reason I did business with them is because I had bought 2 doors off of them for the old shop. Now, they're a dealer for more than one, not just for CHI garage doors. And in fact, the 2 doors I originally bought off of them were Raynors. And I had assumed that when I ordered these, that's what I would be getting was Raynors, similar to what I had before. Now, there were some things about these doors that I liked. The way that they have the metal on the inside. The other doors I had to, the insulation would have been exposed to the inside, so I paid extra to have metal panels on the inside of the other doors that I bought, whereas I didn't have to do that with these. But when I bought these, if you remember the episode where I had installed them, there were some dings along the edges, and I think either 2 or 3 panels had to be replaced. And this happened in shipping, and I didn't think about it back then. In fact, there's one panel, and I'll insert a picture here of one of the dings that was to the inside, so I opted not to make them replace that panel. The reason being, I didn't notify them. I didn't check the panels out well enough when I got them originally, and they were good enough to believe that that it was shipping damage and not something that I did after I received the panels. So I think that one was the 3rd panel that was damaged. So we had them replace 2 that were going to be seen from the outside. But anyway, what it appears is that these panels are just made so inexpensively that they're easily dinged. And not long after I had put the doors up, I dented the bottom of one of the door towards the road where we stored the trailer over here. And what had happened was a large piece of gravel from the drive was right underneath the door. And when I install these doors, I like to the slide latch that where the lock goes, I like to install those a little bit high so that when it's slid over, it's actually putting pressure on the seal and holding the door down. And so when I close the doors, I tend to pull them down, not excessively fast, but fast enough that when it slams on the seal, if I'm pushing over on that latch, that it slips right in. If not, you have to put your foot on the hinge and put a little pressure down on the door and slide it over. Well, anyway, I pulled the door down on that piece of stone and put a dent. And I'll insert pictures here of what that dent looks like. But since that point, there's another ding, as you can see from the picture. There's now 2 on that door, and the more I think about it, the more I believe that those doors should not dent that easily. That even if the majority of the panels aren't reinforced, that bottom panel should have some type of extra reinforcement underneath of that seal, so that if you were to shut it on something like that it's not going to cause that kind of a dent, that kind of a buckle in it. So anyway, lesson learned. My advice would be, I don't know if CHI offers a door that's of a higher level. I have not called the people that sold me these doors. I haven't called them back. If you're going to go with their doors, my suggestion would be to, of course, be aware that they seem to be a bit tender along the edges. Maybe they've got a door that has extra reinforcement in it, or maybe better off would just be to go ahead and go with the Raynors. I was really happy with the Raynors I had at the other shop. So that's just my suggestion. That's just my take. Okay, that's it for this update. Sorry so short, but I've got work to do, and look for some other videos coming out. I'll tell you what they are, but as you're aware, I get into other things and don't get right to them. So anyway, look for those videos, and if you don't If you haven't done so already, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in 2 weeks on the next shop update, first of the new year. Thanks for watching.